Hey guys, welcome back to my crypto world and to today's episode. Today we're going to be looking at the market cycles, where things have headed over the last 10 days and where I think the market may move to over the next week. We're also going to cover off two stories, one on Bitcoin and one on Shiba Inu. All that after this. Okay guys, let's kick it off like we always do and have a look at the market cycles and where things have moved over the last 10 days. Now, when we spoke last time, if you've gone back and looked at my last video, you would have seen that the market had travelled up and had broken through both the 1.75 and the $1.866 trillion mark. Now, at the time, it had also broken its previous highs, so not the all-time high, of course, but we're talking about the last peaks it had, this cycle had on the total crypto market cap. So we broke through the 1.94, then we went up and we broke through this peak here, and we also broke through this peak here. Even though we broke through that peak, it travelled sideways over that movement. And as we've spoken about in previous videos, we know that sometimes when you hit a peak, you may break through it, but it may also travel sideways for a while. Now, we also spoke about the fact that a lot of people are wanting to get into the market now because they've started to see the moves up. And I stressed strongly that we don't want to do that quite yet because the market is known to fall and rebound before it makes its next moves up, and that's exactly what it's done. So as you can see here, we've fallen back down through the $1.86 trillion mark, but we're sitting just nicely above the $1.75 trillion mark. So for me personally, this is not a bad thing. It's not a good thing, but it's just something that happens within the market cycles. Now, we really don't want to see this drop below 1.75 trillion. I don't think we will. My gut feel is it may move sideways for a little bit, which is what it's done for the last 4 days, and then it should move up strongly from there. And what we want to see again is we want to see this next cycle break its previous high, which was at the, let's have a look here, $2.169 trillion mark. So if this next 30 days we can get above that, that shows incredible strength in the market, and the market's pretty much moving in the direction that we all want it to move. So hold on to your hats if you're still holding if you're still holding your cryptocurrencies. Now, one of the questions that came through during the week, just on my private group, was why on earth this sort of stuff happens. You have to remember this: the market is all based on psychology. So the reason the market has shot up strongly and then fallen back quite strongly again, it's come back the other way. For a lot of people, they're taking their profits. There'll be people that are in that mix that have been hanging on to, they bought at the top and they've been hanging on for something to come back so they can get out, even if it was at a slight loss. There are other people who got into the market. They would have timed the market perfectly, just happened to get in on the low. The market's jumped up dramatically and they decided to take profit straight away from the last rise up. So all of that goes into playing how the market unfolds before you. So there's no real one reason why it happens. It's just people want to take profits when they want to take profits. So again, we're seeing more institutional money come into the market. So it's just a matter of waiting and seeing where things unfold for us from here. Now, before we go on to any more market cycle stuff, let's jump onto our stories today. So we've got two stories to share with you. One is Shiba Inu. For those that hold Shiba, and again, that's part of our portfolio. Always remember that this is not financial advice, it's just financial opinion only. Some good news for Shiba Inu holders. Shiba Inu has been added to the Bitcoin of America's ATMs. The article goes on to talk about that it will be available in all of Bitcoin America's ATM locations. And if we just scroll down here, it just talks about that there are over 1,800 Bitcoin ATMs at the moment, spread throughout 31 states of the United States, and they saw Shiba Inu's rising popularity and felt it was time to incorporate that into their machines. Now, Bitcoin of America also provides Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum as payment choices. This follows on the heels of their recent acquisition of Dogecoin in March of this year. Now, users may withdraw cash from their debit credit cards at the kiosk, which also serves as a typical ATM. Bank transfers, PayPal, and debit cards are also accepted at their ATMs. So again, it's getting the marketplace ready for Shiba Inu. It's giving Shiba Inu, the coin itself, more exposure to the general public, which is a good thing if you happen to be holding Shiba Inu at the moment. Now, if we have a look at the price, now that article broke about 4 days ago. if we have a look at SHIB at the moment, you can see here that 4 days ago, SHIB had a massive rise up. In fact, it went, let's have a look at when it went from to. So SHIB rose 37% on the break of that story. It's come down a little bit and probably sitting at about the halfway mark at the moment. But still, if you're able to get in and out of that, if you're a day trader, 37% return is very good. If you're not and you're sitting in for the long term, you know, if you calculate how far it's come back, you're probably sitting around at the 15-20% mark still. Shiba Inu shot up based on that news. So again, good news for Shiba holders. It's really just a matter of waiting and seeing where things go, as it always is with these type of coins. The last article I want to share with you is this came out on the 2nd of April. I haven't seen it around much, so I thought I'd cover it off. But it's interesting to read that how Bitcoin could explode to over 10,000%, according to a global investment giant, Van Eck. The article goes on to say that the global investment manager is predicting Bitcoin could surge over 100 times as hard currencies become less attractive reserve assets. Van Eck says that Bitcoin's price could one day hit 1.3 million, and this projection would play out when the highly liquid global money supply, or MO, is divided by the flagship cryptocurrency's existing supply. When the less liquid global money supply, M2, is divided by the flagship crypto assets total supply, Van Eck says that Bitcoin's price could hit 4.8 million. Now, Bitcoin is trading at the moment, when this article was written, at around about the $45,000 mark, and would need to appreciate by between more than 2,700% and over 10,500%. Now that sounds like a lot for it to move up, obviously, to reach that amount. So let's just go to the Bitcoin chart now and just compare that to what's happening, or what has happened in the past. First of all, so we can get more data in this, I'm just going to change this to a weekly chart. Now, if we go back as far as we can go with Bitcoin, and we get our measuring tool out, and we say, well, based on when it launched back then to where it is now, as far as its all-time high goes, you can see by this that the coin has already moved 115,971% in growth since its inception, since it's first launched on the exchanges. So to turn around and say, well, it's got to move another 10,000% for that milestone of 1.4 million to be reached, or even 2,700%, it's certainly within the realms of what the coin's done in the past. So while it sounds like astronomical growth that could possibly never happen again, remember, it's already happened at least once. So even if you take that measure, we go from the lowest high to its previous all-time high, it had moved up 16,000%, and then if we take it from its after the low after that, let's get rid of that. The low that happened after its previous all-time high to its current all-time high, again, it moved over 2,000% then as well. So large moves are not unknown to Bitcoin. It certainly could do that. It's going to be a matter of timing when that might come true. Now, if you're looking at market cycles as well within the Bitcoin range, remember the market cycles have a 30-day cycle, but there's also an impending 4-year cycle that happens. So based on what's happened in the past, the growth that happened in 2021 and 2020, it's highly likely that we might see some large moves happen in the later half of 2023 or early 2024. I would predict more around about the March or May era of 2024. But again, time will tell. Well, that's it for this week's video. Take care of yourself and each other, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.